Hello all. This time we are at July the 22nd, 1972. So I was 12 years old, and it was 3 days past my brother's 19th birthday. He was probably having a whale of a time, wasn't he? So the headline in Melody Maker this week is Yes Man to Join Crimson. And those of you who know King Crimson of that period will realise that that means that Bill Bruford had just joined King Crimson. He'd been Yes's drummer, left Yes, Alan White took over in Yes, and he had gone on to join King Crimson. Also in the group, a bassist John Wetton from Family, violinist David Cross, the latter a Fripp discovery. So, interesting band, King Crimson. Some amazing stuff and some utter shite. But just for writing Schizoid Man, they will forever be close to my heart. Particularly the live version on Earthbound, which is just about the heaviest thing I've ever heard in my life. So, Schizoid Man on Earthbound, check it out. Jesus, it's mental. Turn the page, we've got the singles charts. This will be interesting, won't it? Donny Osmond, Puppy Love at number 1. The Sublime Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter, sadly, at number 2. Sylvia's Mother by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show at number 3. It's quite interesting, this one, actually, because there's several here that I remember buying. And I'll go through, I know what's going to be in the chart further down here, purely because of Sylvia's Mother. I guarantee, without looking, Starman will be in there. And I guarantee that Seaside Shuffle by Terry Dactyl and the Dinosaurs will be there. And I only know this because I bought all 3 of those singles at the same time in Woolworths in Leven in Scotland when I went up to visit my grandmother there. And she went out to bingo, as she was wont to do every week, and won a mono record player. Who she brought it back and gave it to me. And so up until then I'd been playing records on my mum and dad's record player, so it was my first record player that I owned. And I went down to Woolworths the next day and I bought those 3 singles, and in their bargain bin albums I bought Long Shot, Kick the Bucket by the Pioneers. So there we go. I guarantee they'll be in there. So let's have a look. I'll probably be wrong now. I'm looking right twat. Sylvia's Mother at number 3. Little Willie by the Sweets. Take Me Back Home by Slade. Ooh Wackadoo Wackaday, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Some great stuff there. Number 17, up from number 25, Starman, the Sublime Starman. And let's see if we've got straight in at number 23, Seaside Shuffle by Terry Dactyl and the Dinosaurs. Which, for those who don't know, was Jonah Louie, who later went on to have a couple of hits with Stop the Cavalry and You'll Always Find Me in the Kitchen at Parties for the Stiff label. But that was 6 years later, and this is 1972. So then he was Terry Dactyl. Silver Machine by Hawkwind, which I bought the next week when I got back home. That went in at number 29. So there we go, that's quite poignant for me. America's Top 10, number 1, and this is poignant because it was only 3 days ago that he passed. Lean on Me by Bill Withers. In the British album charts, American Pie by Don McLean is number 1. Slade Alive by Slade is number 3. Bolan Boogie by T-Rex is number 4. Ziggy Stardust, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, not the Men from Mars, which they had last time we did 1972, is up 3 at number 6. Earthbound by King Crimson, which I've just mentioned, is at number 24. School's Out by Alice Cooper, in at equal number 24. And there's a good one. I've still got my original copy, and it's for those who don't know, it's like a school desk, and the top lifts up and the record pulls out, but around the record are a pair of paper girls' pants, and I've still got my girls' pants. Interesting stuff, eh? Roxy Music, debut, new entry at number 30. Well, what a great chart that was. The news pages. Oh, what have we got here? Lindisfarne Giant Tour. Oh, and what I was saying about Bowie, things being cut out. I'll just point this out now, just to prove I'm right. There you go, look. There's a piece cut out of the paper there, and I don't know what that was, but it was obviously a little Bowie piece. Trouble hit the Groundhogs US tour last week. As the group were leaving the state, this was Pennsylvania, Tony McPhee fell down a flight of steps and broke his arm in 3 places. Well, that'll knacker his guitar playing, won't it? Fanny. You may remember I mentioned my friend Lynn, who's suffering from cancer, who's a big Susie Quattro fan. She was also, at this point in time, a big Fanny fan, who were they weren't the first female rock band. There were many before them, but they were the first female hard rock band that became successful in any way, shape or form. There was another band at the time called Bertha, who weren't as popular, but Fanny were a great band. All-girl American rock band Fanny are to make an extensive tour of Great Britain and Europe. They played Bristol Polytechnic on the 4th of October. Yeah, good band, Fanny. The Millington Sisters, great musically. And a little bit of... here's a little bit of trivia for you. To do with Bowie, I suppose, in a roundabout way. The two Millington sisters, Jean Millington and Joan Millington. Jean Millington was a guitarist, did a lot of singing as well in the band. Joan Millington was a bass player who married Earl Slick, who was Bowie's guitarist on Station to Station, and after that live guitarist as well. So there you go, bit of a Bowie connection with Fanny. Bolan Film, that'll be Born to Boogie. New album, The Slider, released tomorrow. Andy Fraser quits Free. Japanese Mob ELP. I'd have bloody mobbed them too and given them a big punch. Steppenwolf gigs. Uriah Heep released a single this week, Easy Living. Always had a bit of a soft spot for Uriah Heep as a hard rock band. Never really got the kudos they deserved. Slade Open Sundown. Roxy Music's Andy Mackay, who supplied oboe and saxophones on the group's first single, Virginia Plain. God, that had just come out. Roxy Music. They'd sound futuristic today, wouldn't they? They were called Futuristic in 1972. That's 48 years ago. But if you put on that first album today, if you played In Every Dream Home a Heartache, it sounds futuristic now. Unbelievable. Just weird. How they got it so right. American music scene. Felix Pappalardi, who had just quit Mountain. Beggars Opera. They were sort of prog baroque band. They've actually got their first 2 albums, which are probably worth a few bob. So if anybody wants to make an offer, don't know why I've got them. Crystal Palace Bowl Garden Party. Arlo Guthrie, son of Woody. Osibisa, who were one of the first African bands to really break through big in the mainstream, particularly in this country. Great live, I did manage to catch them. Stone the Crows, which was Maggie Bell, the front woman in that band, who was constantly in the polls in the music papers at the time, constantly #1 in female singer. And bottom of the bill, Roxy Music. Roy Wood has left the Electric Light Orchestra to form Wizard. New pop singles. Let's have a little look through. The number one on here, or the top one, is Donny Elbert, Ooh Baby Baby, which was a minor hit as far as I remember. Now, I fully expected to see a few goodies in here, but I'm struggling. Oh, it's a bit cricket themed. The Australian cricket team, 72. Bowl a ball, swing a bat. Don't remember that one. I didn't even know cricket teams made records. No football teams did at the time. Lancashire County cricket team, Red Rose. Dear, dear, dear. I tell you what, the first one here that was a hit is The Locomotion by Little Eva, which was a re-release, of course. What a poor, poor week for singles. The last one mentioned, Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack, Where Is the Love, which was a minor hit at the time and then became well known later on, of course. Concert for Bangladesh, organised by George Harrison. The film had just come out. Full-page ad for T-Rex, the slider, which at the time, I remember it very well. I thought it was quite disappointing, I've got to say. But how can you follow up Electric Warrior? And in retrospect, of course, it's an excellent album. The album after that, Tanks, that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, Slider actually is a good album. But at the time, I was a bit disappointed. Mailbag. Let's have a little look here. The picture at the top is of Alice Cooper. So what has Philip Tucker of Harewood Road, Isleworth said? Alice Cooper, what is it all about when a performer has to resort to amateur theatricals, decapitating toys and staging a ham hanging sequence on stage? In these days of anti-violence, it does little to promote his image as an entertainer and certainly doesn't impress the general anti-pop element of the public. And actually, that was Mr. West of Gloucester. Philip Tucker said, after reading Michael Watt's report of the Alice Cooper show, I was disgusted. Not everyone under 18 is the type of teeny-bot ignorant moron as Watts painted them. I'm 16, and my initial thoughts after leaving Wembley that evening were relief that the supposed biggest and best in rock showmanship is still nothing when put alongside such virtuoso musicians as comprise Yes, ELP and Pink Floyd. What can you say? Philip Tucker, I don't know how old you were in 1972. You're probably, I would think, mid-60s now, and in all likelihood you're probably still a twat. What else have we got? Robert Hurdis. I hope David Bowie will not attract other artists to follow his pattern of pop, because his music is squeaky with a constant reminder that it is out of date, brackets Starman, close brackets. Youngsters only go to see him in concert to give themselves a tickle to see a grown man acting like a child, putting his arms around members of the group with them blowing him kisses back. Robert Hurdist of Morton-in-the-Marsh, Gloucestershire. Jesus, that's a bit worrying, isn't it? That people like that were about. And another one here, R.W. Tyson of Catford, London. May I be the first to say, David Bowie is not sold out, he's just getting better. Good for you, Mr. Tyson. Oh, full page article about the New York Dolls. You want to play house with the Dolls? They might just be the best rock and roll band in the world, and whether you believe that or not, you're going to have to take notice of them. The New York Dolls. Fabulous. Album reviews, Rod Stewart, Never a Dull Moment, absolute classic. Love him or hate him in his later years, in these days Rod Stewart was producing consistently top work, either with or without the Faces, and Never a Dull Moment is utterly superb. Randy Newman, Sail Away, big selling album. Roots, an occasional series on the sounds that pioneered today's music. Georgie Fame, Spencer Davis, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck. Of course, this was, they're talking about it as if it was archaic. All of these acts were from within the previous 7 or 8 years. So it's like us today talking about something from 2013, 2014, 2015. It's remarkable when you look at it like that. McGuinness Flint, they were a good band. Gilbert O'Sullivan, why Gilbert said goodbye to all that? And I think by all that they mean probably Gilbert O'Sullivan's original image was the cloth cap, baggy shorts, a bit like a street urchin, a ragamuffin. And he left that behind and started wearing American baseball jackets and the like. And it was a shame in a way, not a shame that he changed his image, because his songs also changed. Because those songs that he wrote with that original image were superb. I was playing his second album the other day, and songs like Nothing Rhymed and Ooh Wackadoo Wackaday were great songs. And I was saying to Gemma how just listen to these lyrics. They're lyrically, he was, I'd say he was close to being a genius. If you have a listen to those early Gilbert O'Sullivan albums, they're superb, absolutely brilliant. The Blues, and then a whole page about Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits. American music scene, Jackie DeShannon. Mike Darbo advert. Mike's new single is Belinda, ex-singer in Manfred Mann, of course. The Main Man. The Main Man in 1972. This was before Bowie got very big. From a pop point of view, was of course Marc Bolan. And it's interesting, it actually mentions that. It wasn't mentioned too often at the time, and I guess it shows how the journalists realised that Bowie was on the way up and going to be rivaling and soon overtaking Marc Bolan in the credible pop stakes, because it says Marc Bolan likes brandy, drinks, whiskey and coke, owns a white Rolls which he can't drive, shows old movies like The Girl Can't Help It at Home, wears a satin collared jacket with a tear in the shoulder, goes to Rolling Stones concerts and once played lead guitar on David Bowie's Prettiest Star, which of course was released as a single, sold nothing, and then was rehashed on Aladdin Sane with Mick Ronson playing guitar. But the music press must have realised that, or otherwise why would they mention Bowie? He was on his way to overtaking Mr. Bolan. A quarter page ad, never a dull moment from the 21st. Nothing more, nothing less. That clearly refers to Rod Stewart's new album. Jazz pages, we'll quickly pass that by. Any questions? Which exercises does John Entwistle recommend for speed on both hands? Squat thrusts? Star jumps, maybe? Oh, they mean finger exercises, sorry. What equipment is used by Man, and how do they get the siren effect on stage at the end of Remain? I'd imagine they probably just have a tape playing a siren. What ride cymbal and other equipment did Nigel Olsson use on Elton John's Rocket Man? Now, is that not a little bit anal to ask what ride cymbal he used? Caught in the Act, the live pages. Iggy Pop, can you take him? You thrilled to Arthur Brown, you gasped at Alice Cooper, but can you take Iggy Pop? A lot couldn't. He was a bit much for some, that's for sure. Lou Reed live. Pentangle, Man. The Housewife's Choice, and he was. Andy Williams. My mum used to fancy the pants off him. Good looking guy, mind, I gotta say. Blind date, which is when we've spoken about this before, where they get an artist to review certain album tracks by bands, and this is with Stone the Crows. Doesn't say which members, but quite likely to be Maggie Bell. Oh no, it's a few of them. Maggie and Colin from Stone the Crows. Uriah Heep, Easy Living. Colin says, I don't think at that pace it's easy living. This is a group and not a solo singer. And Maggie says, Uriah Heep reminds me of Deep Purple's Black Knight. Who've we got here? And here we got the advert pages again with the obligatory loons and flares and scoop neck shirts. Oh, a great pair of loons there. Stars and Stripe loons. Coupled with a Marc Bolan t-shirt. Fabulous stuff. Free poster offer, Marc Bolan again. Guys and girls two-tone fitted jackets. Suede look with brushed cotton. And similar loons. Fabulous. Scoop neck shirt. Purple, red, brown and pink with stars on it. I had a shirt just the same. And we were saying a while back on one of these about budgie jackets when I said they were just coming in. Well, here we've got one that looks just like a budgie jacket, although it's not called a budgie jacket. Two-tone cotton shorty. Cream cotton duck with maroon, green, brown or blue suede trim. More live acts, Bobby V, Thelma Houston, Supertramp. 4-page ad for Trilogy by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. We'll pass that one very quickly. Another ad here for Jovan Boots, men's shorty boots, fantastic real python boots. So a sort of, I don't know if they are real snakeskin, but they're amazing. God, what I'd give for a pair of them now. Incredible. Frisbee Freaks, the craze that is sweeping America. Folk with Mike Harding, who had a lot of success over the years. And the Spinners, who were a staple on TV in the early 70s, which was always a bit odd at the time because the Spinners are a 4-piece traditional folk band and they had a black guy in them, which just seemed weird. Why should it be weird? Absolutely no reason. But in 1972 it seemed weird. They also had a man who was about 6'8", which looked really odd too. Club calendar, bands such as, and there we go. Bowie was obviously playing that week because there's a big piece missing there. Thin Lizzy were playing, Stone the Crows, Brinsley Schwartz, Atomic Rooster, East of Eden, Quintessence, Weather Report, Matching Mole. A lot of Bristol connections there with Matching Mole. Turning the page, we got Caravan with Genesis supporting, Screaming Lord Sutch. Flaming Groovies were in town, in Birmingham. Edgar Broughton, what a great band they were. Stackridge, came from just 5 miles from my hometown in the West Country. Wonderful band, Stackridge. Nazareth, etc., etc. 06 Discotheque International. Fabulous first night, Saturday the 29th of July. This is 06 Discotheque International, Cherry Orchard Lane, Southend-on-Sea, Essex. And it's a form of application for membership. They must have been pretty convinced they were going to be successful to take out a half-page ad for a disco. Caught in the Act, Gary Glitter. Bees Make Honey, pub rock band. Lovelace Watkins, he was an interesting chap, wasn't he? I think he was Lovelace Watkins a Opportunity Knocks winner? I think he was. Classified ads, more classified ads, and on the back a full page ad for Roxy Music's debut. What a great place to leave it. See you next time.
Marc Talks Max. Marc Talks Max. Mags.